Everyone, the Celtics and Heat meet again tonight for game two. Before we dive into that, though, with Jeff Pratt, just a quick mention of yesterday, game one of the Western Conference Finals last night, Jeff. Maverick superstar here, dude, Luka Doncic. He entered this one like he's been playing some of the best basketball of his NBA career here, dude. And the Warriors, man, they were all concerned, like, how are we going to slow him down? And Klay Thompson's like, we got to play like a team and believe in one another. It's like, that's adorable. But it turns out they actually did shut him down. The Warriors held Luka, Jeff, to 17% on contested field goal attempts. That's a career playoff worst. Like, that seems like a pretty good recipe for success and easy enough, right? Can they do this the rest of the series?
I don't think they can do this the rest of the series, but if they can contain him whatsoever, this is no contest. I mean, I think we were all thoroughly disappointed in Luka Doncic and what he did in game one. He actually got some help on offense for once. 3 other guys scored in double digits, but what does he do? He scores 20 points on 6 for 18 shooting, only had 4 assists, which is really low for him, to go along with 7 turnovers and a team worst minus 30. Not only that,
terrible,
but he's playing horribly on both sides of the balls. He's constantly complaining to the refs. His head was just completely out of the game. He needs to be at his very best if the Mavs are going to win this series, and he was so far away from that. And then on the Warriors side, this was just a vintage Warriors performance. All 7 players who played 20-plus minutes scored double-digit points, 12 rebounds for Steph Curry. The ball move was immaculate per usual. 6 players with at least 3 assists. That's a recipe for success for the Warriors, and that's just something that Dallas can't keep up with, especially if Luka is going to play like that.
Yeah, maybe the key for the Warriors is Luka having a pregame beer, like on game days, right?
It's got to be.
That picture floating around, and then the Mavs are like, no, that's an old picture, and everyone's like, I don't really know about that. All right, let's go to tonight. Yeah, because I was like, oh my God, he really is the Euro Michael Jordan. Like, he just balls out, and you can drink and play golf before games and be great.
Oh, man.
Let's go to tonight. It's just, these are your boys, dude. Also, I saw the breaking news. So Derek White, he's out tonight. He's having like a kid. What else should we know about like the injuries tonight, like with Horford and also Marcus?
Honestly, it's all pretty up in the air right now with the Celtics, just because they entered this series with multiple positive tests in their traveling party. Obviously, Horford, he's doubtful tonight. Sounds like he's not going to be able to go. Marcus Smart is probable, so he'll be back, and they'll need him because Derek White, yes, congratulations to Derek White. He is flying back to Boston for the birth of his child. Family's priority number 1 here, so give him props there. This is going to be they're going to have to rely on Peyton Pritchard a lot tonight, just like they have the last 2 games. He scored 4 points in game 7 against the Bucks, 18 in game 1 against the Heat. He shot very efficiently from 3. They're going to need that from him tonight. And if we know anything about Boston, it's that they've been extremely resilient this season. They've bounced back from early season struggles. They were down 3-2 Milwaukee against the Bucks. They were able to bounce back there. I'm confident that they can put this together. The problem is, will they have more positive tests? We don't know at this point. We're still waiting on that news to come in. So anything can happen between now and tip off.
Yeah, I think COVID-19 is now listed as the favorite on the DK Sportsbook as the Eastern Conference Finals MVP. They were great in that first half, dude. And you mentioned Pritchard. I think he had 10 of his points in the first half the other night in game 1. So is there a quarter bet you like for this evening in this one?
Yeah, my favorite first quarter bet is actually over 50.5 points. I mean, the Heat and the Celtics hit that in all 4 quarters in game 1. And these are 2 really strong defensive teams, but for whatever reason, they were getting now, except for the third quarter for the Celtics, but the Heat still carried them to hit the over there. The Celtics, they have a really good offense. Both of these teams pass and flow very well. They move the ball. And for whatever reason, the defenses weren't as strong as they had been all season. Maybe that's going to be the case for the rest of the series, and we get a little bit more offense than we expect. But I think over 50.5 points is well within the realm of possibility in the first quarter.
Well, Jimmy Butler the other night, by the way, I'm like, why am I today old when I realize he's just like a 6'6" Jamie Foxx? When I look at like Jimmy Butler, dude had 41 points, like Jason Tatum had 29. So in terms of their props tonight, let's see, Butler's at 26.5, Tatum 28.5. Like, which one are you more confident in taking an over or under on here?
I'm more confident in taking over on Tatum to go
Okay.
over 28.5. He's going to step up again. The Heat had no answer for him besides putting Jimmy Butler on him, and that's just not sustainable throughout the entire game because he's going to get to foul trouble. Jason Tatum got to the line. Plenty. Both of these guys got to the line. And that's why I think that the over is definitely possible for both of them. I think 30-plus points, it's very realistic for Jason Tatum. We've seen him do it consistently throughout the postseason, and after that subpar second half, he's going to be eager to come out and prove the doubters wrong in this one. And I think Jimmy, I think he could score less than, what was it, 26.5, Emerson?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, that's a prop.
I think he could score 26 tonight. But that doesn't necessarily mean the Celtics are going to lock him up. We've seen this from the Heat. When people think they're going to go one direction, they go another direction. I think that if Marcus Smart plays, it's going to be a personal point to limit Jimmy Butler, but at the same time, Jimmy Butler, the great facilitator, he could just be looking to get more guys involved tonight. We don't know. It's really just depends on what he feels like doing coming out of the gates. If he feels like being more of a passer, then he's not going to look to shoot that much. But we know he's going to take the shots in crunch time. So not confident. I think 26 is about right for him. Tatum, much more confident going over.
Yeah, and with Butler too, I forget how many of those points came at the line. Like that dude.
So many. I think he shot 18 free throws, something like that. Crazy.
Yeah. It's just like, I mean, that's his game. So maybe like the Celtics can avoid kind of, clanging and banging with him. I guess I don't really know. It just seemed like way too easy for him. Let's talk about a role player you believe who can like shine tonight, because I think Gabe Vincent was a different kicker with Lowry out. He put up 17 points and plus 23 there for the game. So who do you expect to maybe be a role player tonight that people could target?
I mean, we already talked about Payne Pritchard earlier in the segment. It's got to be him for the Celtics. I mean, what's already been that can't be elaborated on? 14 points in game 7, 18 in game 1. They need something like that. They need 14 plus from him tonight to carry the load offensively. And then with Al Horford still out, Grant Williams absolutely has to step up for the Celtics if they want to win tonight. Rob Williams is still catching his wind. You saw him pull up with cramps late in game 1. People were worried about the knee, but he is okay. It's just cramps. But, they gave him a large workload, and he's been off for so long that they need to be able to rely on other bigs, and it's not going to be Daniel Tice. Yeah. He's getting absolutely bullied every time he steps on the floor. You don't need game 7 Grant Williams, where he went 7 for 18 from 3, but a solid defensive effort from Bam and 10 to 15 points on efficient shooting would do wonders for the Celtics tonight.
Grant Williams is acting like he's this all-star dude now. Like they mic'd him up. He's sitting there trying to fire up the team, and I'm like, relax, bro. You're a bench dude. You played hero in game 7, and then you're falling all over the place. You're all over the floor in game 1 against the Heat. Like, what are you doing?
It's so frustrating. Between Grant, he acts like he's a 10-time All-Star, and then Tatum also constantly pushing the refs. So a huge part of the NBA game is working the officials and being able to get on their good side. And between both of those guys, the officials are just so pissed off at them at the end of the first quarter that I'm not going to say refs are going to win or lose games in the NBA, but Jimmy Butler went to the line 18 plus times. So you're not going to get the star treatment calls if you're Jason Tatum, if you're constantly whining, and Grant Williams is already making refs mad at your team. So it's a huge part.
Did I hear that some of the guys on the team have a nickname for Grant Williams, Grant Curry? For him, like
Jaylen Brown said that at the end of game 7. I hope every compliment that he gets clearly goes right to his head. This man has the most inflated ego in the NBA right now.
Oh, it's ridiculous. He shot like 17 of them in that game 7. Pratt, before you get out of here. So what's the bet tonight? Can the Celtics even up this series? Currently in the DK Sportsbook, as we're talking right now, the 3.5 point underdogs, and the totals at 207. They're plus 140 on the money line.
I take the money line here. I think just what we've seen from the Celtics all season is that they've been extremely resilient, as I touched on earlier. And I expect that trend to continue tonight. After dropping game 1 at home versus the Bucks, they came out and they blew them out in game 2, going down 3-2 on the road in that series. They came back. They found ways to win 2 games in a row. I think that Boston is clearly the more talented team in this series. And maybe there's a case of the Heat in their head back from what they did to them in the bubble in the Eastern Conference Finals. But even without Al Horford and Derek White, if they can find the rhythm that they had in the first half of game 1, they should take this one. And then quickly, I also like Jaylen Brown over 23.5 points. He was horrible for the first 3 quarters of game 1, but he turned it up in the 4th, still found a way to finish with 24. I expect more of him tonight and for him to come out much more aggressive.